5 of the watches from our new arrivals page that I think are pretty darn great. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. Please do like this video if you like it. Hit subscribe, and if you hit the little bell icon, you'll be notified when we're going live and when we put new videos up. So, dig right into things. I brought with me today, I wanted to start with this Jaeger. This is the Master Control Chronograph Calendar. And this to me is such a great offering from JLC. We have what almost looks like a Patek perpetual calendar chronograph, but this isn't a perpetual. It's a complete calendar, so this will go to 31. Every month it will require some adjustment there, but you're getting a very complicated watch for a very accessible price point, and you're getting it in steel, which gives you that wonderful everyday wearability. Perfect size, great proportion. I like these calfskin straps that they're doing now. I think it suits the watch really nicely. Classic Dauphine hands. Everything you want. And again, at a price point, like you can't touch a Patek of this level of complication for the price of this watch, which I believe is on our website right now for right around $15,000. Automatic, obviously fully in-house. The watchmaker's watchmaker. Not much else to say. Blued steel hands. It's lovely. It's perfect. I've always been a big fan of Jaeger. I think that their watches are undervalued, underappreciated for the most part. I've always been a very big Reverso fan. And I think that this, there we go, didn't have enough power. This lines up perfectly with what they make and their ethic and their design language. It's a great dress watch. It's a great casual watch. Then, on the other side of the coin, if you did want to get a complicated Patek, I thought I would pull something that is not your kind of standard run-of-the-mill Patek. This is a 5036 in white gold. And this is a unique reference because of this integrated 5-link white gold bracelet. And I love these because this is right around the time that Patek started not plating their white gold. So a lot of white gold can be rhodium plated, which makes it white, white, white. So it looks like platinum or steel. This, on the other hand, is the natural white gold, which you can see has this kind of warmth to it. The Europeans actually refer to it as gray gold, not white. And to me, it's really lovely. I love the color of unplated white gold. This is an annual calendar. And this is based off of the 5056 in platinum. So we have annual calendar with a power reserve and the moon phase. Traditional kind of Patek layout here with the date at 6 o'clock. We get the luminous leaf-shaped hands, which I think actually suit this really well. And you get luminous Romans as well. This came from the 5035, which was the first ever annual calendar that Patek made. And I believe that came out in the 90s. So this is a 37 mil case. And again, perfect proportions. The bracelet is super comfortable because it has a lot of flex to it. It almost feels like a Jubilee. All of those links obviously independently move. And so very comfortable on the wrist, a really nice weight to it. And just an interesting watch, not something we see very often. Very low profile, would be easy to wear with the white metal. Double deploy and clasp, automatic movement with a display back, 5036, 1G, that 1G signifying on a white gold bracelet. I love the logo at 6 o'clock too. Like there's something about the balance and the layout of that dial that I find to be kind of unique. All right, then from the classic to the modern. Anybody who's watched any of these videos that we've been doing here knows that I have a real soft spot for these Code 1159 pieces. I think I wish AP had waited 1 year to release them and had released them in this iteration with these dials, because I think public opinion would have been very different than the flat dials they initially did that first year. The case on these is absolutely incredible. They do their octagonal motif, but they do it on the mid case versus the bezel. So it's there, but it's a little more subtle. You get these really amazing sculptured lugs that come off of the top part of the case and don't actually connect to the bottom, which is kind of interesting. A fully in-house automatic caliber that fills the case in a beautiful way, and the double curved crystal, which to me is probably my favorite part of this watch, because the distortions that you get when you look at this because of the geometry is amazing. And it does a really good job of not reflecting like crazy, which obviously for making videos is good, but it also aids in legibility. These I think are 41. I don't remember the size, but I have about a 7¼ inch wrist and it fits me perfectly. It's a great profile because it's thick enough to not feel too dressy or too kind of like ultra thin delicate, but it's also not so thick that it's going to not fit under the cuff. This is the rose gold with the blue fume. One of the few times I think this date at 4:30 actually kind of works because it blends in enough with the dark date window against the dark dial. Like, I'm okay with it in this watch. I think it works. I really, really like these. I really like these. Stellar. And again, selling at a very nice discount from retail currently. So I think, again, really nice value for a fully in-house Audemars Piguet with the code 1159. Then I'm going to go to an interesting Speedmaster. This is the Omega Chronoscope coaxial. So this was kind of an interesting release when they did this because it's obviously, it feels like a Speedmaster in terms of the case and the bracelet, but then the dial and the movement are almost something completely otherwise. So we have this dial with the snail track in the center, and you have lots of information there. You have a pulsation scale, you have a base 60, you have telemetry, you have all of these kind of different scales in there. You have tachometer on the bezel, and you have a 12-hour counter on this, which is kind of cool. Usually when you see these 2-register chronos, you always expect a 30-minute counter, but on this one they do give you the full 12-hour counter with your running seconds on the side there. I like this blue inverse panda design. I think it has beautiful balance to it. It's very busy, but it's not overwhelming, which is not easy to achieve. And then you get the new style bracelet with the tapered clasp, which is one of the nicest things Omega's done in the modern era. And we have a beautifully finished in-house coaxial chronograph movement. Almost kind of German watchmaker-esque with that huge plate, but I love the radial arc of the Geneva striping on there. I think that's very cool. And obviously Omega with the coaxial escapement finding its way into more and more of their watches. A little bit bigger than your Speedy Pro, but not a much better profile than some of the automatic Speedmasters they were doing, like the Speedmaster Moonphase and things, where the Moonphase was at 6 and they had the automatic coaxial. Those got really thick. This is in between. It's in between the bigger ones and then the original Speedy Pros. And to me, it's like, if you've looked at Speedmasters and you're like, I like them, they're great, but it's a Speedmaster and we all know what it is and it doesn't excite me that much. This is a great way to get that Omega chronograph heritage and that Speedmaster feel, but in something that's much more unique and really interesting. And this would look great on straps too. Like if you put this on like a brown cordovan or something, I think this would be an absolute killer. It's a great watch. I love it. Yeah. And then one of my favorites. I saved this for last because every time we get one of these in, I am always in love with the Lange Cabaret. This is a watch they haven't made for over a decade now, I believe. I think they do currently offer a crazy tourbillon version of this watch, but it's one of the few watches we have never seen here at European Watch Company is the Cabaret tourbillon. Which I believe also has the fusee chain movement in it. Would love to get my hands on one of those one day. But a rectangular Lange, and a lot of details here that I think are really quite remarkable. The stepping on the lugs and like the many kind of tiers to this case and details that they have on there are really, really beautiful. It has a little bit of a curve thanks to the downturn of the lugs, so it sits well on the wrist. It's not like dead flat like a Reverso. Classic Lange big date with the small seconds. Very German, very perfectly balanced. And then on the back, you get everything Lange has to offer in their calibers, but in a rectangle. And to me, it's just, I mean, that steals the show right there. The blued screws, the gold chatons, like you get absolutely everything you'd want out of a Lange. It does have a corrector, there it is, for the big date on the side there, so you don't get the button, which to me is better because it would ruin this lovely case if you put that big button on there, but it still is a nice quick set date. This in yellow gold with the champagne dial. Again, I would change the strap. I'd put this on something warmer, on like a caramel brown or something, but obviously that's very easy. Killer tuxedo watch, killer dress watch. I love these. I absolutely love them. I think my absolute favorite would be the rose gold black dial, which is a stunner. But this, a close second. And a great watch. I love the warmth of yellow and rose gold, especially getting into the winter time, the fall and the winter. It's just, it appeals to me way more than the white metals. And I think Lange does it so well. So yeah, Lange Cabaret in yellow gold. And that's my 5. 5 really cool releases from 5 different manufacturers that I think are definitely taking a look at. As always, we will be back again next Thursday for another horological happy hour at 5 o'clock Boston time. Until then, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.